Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm sitting here with Dr. Alicia. And we were thinking about Cornel West. Cornel West is having a really hard time at Harvard, and it's pretty interesting. Alicia, did you see what's going on with Cornel West?
Yeah, I was quite surprised. First of all, I thought Cornel West was already tenured. You would think at the age of 67 that
Mm.
it's tough to see somebody go through that at his age.
Well, okay, so let me give
Yeah.
you guys the background though.
Okay.
I gotta give them the background real quick.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you all know about this, but Cornel West was denied tenure. Well, actually, he was denied the opportunity to even go up for tenure at Harvard University, which was very surprising because a lot of people thought Cornel West already had tenure. And so there's a big conversation about why Harvard would deem a guy like a Cornel West, one of the most respected scholars in history, to be unworthy of tenure on their campus. So go ahead, babe. What thoughts did you have? What did you want to say?
Well, first of all, I'm real curious as to how Cornel West is bouncing around at different universities. Like, was he at Harvard first at one point and then left to go to Yale and then Princeton and then came back to Harvard?
Yeah, he was at Harvard. Left 2002, got into a big argument with Lauren Summers.
So he got into an argument with someone and then he just leaves.
Well, it wasn't just a simple argument. It was Lawrence Summers leans right. I think he worked under Obama, but he leans right, and he showed a lot of disrespect to the faculty in Africana studies and stuff like that. So they had a big issue with him. Give me a yes or no in the chat if you heard what was going on with Cornel West. How many of you have been following any of that or saw it in the news? Hey, Greer Turnbull, how you doing? I'd be curious to know how many of you were following what was going on with Cornel, because it was kind of crazy. I was very surprised. I thought that, I thought he was pretty set at Harvard, but they offered him an endowed chair and a 10-year contract. So clearly money wasn't the issue or job security. It seems like it's about like acknowledgement. Give me tenure.
So what did Cornel actually want? Did Cornel just wanted to be just granted tenure? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think he wanted to at least be put up for tenure. Yeah. And they were like, we're not even going to put you up.
Yeah, so he has a right to be mad. I would be mad. I think a man of his stature, when he went to Harvard, they should have just given him tenure at Harvard.
You would think so. You would think that Harvard would do that. But then again, though, remember, when they offer you something, you don't have to take it. So he chose to take it.
So what was his position? Was he like a full-time adjunct, or was he a lecturer, or what was his position? If he did not have a tenure track position, then he had to have had some sort of title.
I want to say like a professor of practice or something like that.
What is a professor?
But maybe that wasn't it exactly. But it wasn't tenure track.
Obviously wasn't tenure. So it's pretty unclear as to, what are you doing? Was he in a particular department, or I don't know. It was really confusing.
But honestly, like I think a lot of people, when they see stuff like this happen, first of all, they're like, for most regular people are like, okay, what is tenure again? Like, what is this? Why is this a big deal?
It is a big deal, by the way.
Yeah, well, tenure, just for those who don't know, tenure is job security for scholars.
Yeah.
Where basically you can't be fired for saying things that are controversial, stuff like that. So it's an important part of your economic freedom. Economic and intellectual freedom.
Yeah, but you have to earn that, and you earn that through service. You earn it service to the university, to the students. You earn it through teaching, so you have to be a really good professor. You also earn it through your scholarship, so you have to be a scholar. You have to publish. You have to do quite a bit of things to get tenure. So it's not like, you work for it, and when you get, I'm speaking from my own experience because I am tenured.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
Well,
I am a professor, so not only tenured, but I got the rights to be a full professor, which is and actually there's no such thing as full professor. It's just professor.
Yeah, that's a big deal. But I agree with Stephanie Pate Thomas. She says, Dr. West, Harvard is prestigious. However, you're a world-class scholar. Please take your expertise to an HBCU.
Yes. Wait, who said that?
Stephanie Pate Thomas.
Yeah, I agree with Stephanie. I'm also perplexed as to why he's so angry, and the fact that he is angry. He could go at HBCU; they would pick him up in a minute and give him tenure and everything he wants, the respect that he's asking for. He wouldn't have to be angry. They would just allow him to be himself.
He could join the Black Business School.
Would you pick him up, boys?
Yeah, I could probably pay him what Harvard pays him. I don't know what he makes.
You would pay him what Harvard pays him?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I would offer.
Well, then maybe you should do that.
If he came and work with us, like Dr. Claude Anderson's with the Black Business School.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Dr. Claude Anderson, to me, that's creme de la creme.
Oh, wouldn't it be nice to get both of them in the same room?
Oh,
and have them talk?
Lord, wouldn't that be fun?
You should do it. Don't you have his phone number?
What? Cornel? Yeah, I'll ask him. But the difference is that Cornel is a leftist. He's very much on the left, and Dr. Anderson is more to the right.
Well, that would be the best discussion.
But what's really good about Cornel West, why I love this man, is that he is a good human being.
Okay.
I had the great opportunity. I spent the whole day with him in New York.
Nice.
Like it was like 7 hours, me and him. And when I met him, the first thing he did when in the middle of a crowded restaurant, first thing he did was he got on one knee and greeted me on one knee in front of all these people. These people are like, why is this Black man bowing to this other man? And I was like, this is crazy. Cornel West is bowing, but he's that humble. He's that much of he's a servant for his cause. And so I don't really tolerate too much criticism of him, even though I don't agree with everything. I look at the core of a person's character.
Well, boys, don't you remember? Do you remember when you came to Chicago to visit me way back in 1998?
Mm-hmm.
And what did we do?
Went to a Cornel West lecture.
We sure did. We went to a lecture.
Yes, we did.
That was our little fun time together back then.
Yeah. I'll tell you, that was fun. I remember that. And he did a really good job. I like Cornel West a lot.
The place was packed. And that was, what, 20 years ago. And the place was he set that place off. So
yeah, he's just solid.
And we met him. We went we stood in line and shook his head. This was a long time ago though.
Yeah. Well, I think that
anyway.
One area where I can't go with him on this is I'm kind of past the idea of begging white people to let us into their institutions.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't give a shit. It's like, keep your damn funky ass racist university. I will not go in the building with a racist and then have to humble myself to that racist to get them to let me have some I mean, I'm not making fun of Dr. West at all, but my response on this honestly is fuck Harvard. Like, if you want to be racist, if you want to be like these damn Proud Boy, whatever, you know what I mean? Like really, they might as well be a bunch of intellectual Proud Boys.
Yeah, you know, the thing is that he's given them too much power. I think if I had to critique anything, he's given them too much power by having their actions make him angry. That says that, they made him angry. Like, if someone were to deny me tenure or deny me anything, I'd be like, oh, thank you very much. This is an opportunity for me to do something better. I wouldn't go and talk about it for hours and hours. I wouldn't galvanize. I wouldn't even fight back, because how you're gonna lose? It's Harvard.
Well,
He's not gonna win.
Well, what I like about it though is I like the fact, because it reminds me a little of my little thing with Syracuse, right?
I know.
And I liked when he said, you're not gonna quietly disrespect me. Like, I'm going to tell everybody and shine a light on it. And I think that's good, right? That's good for all the Black people that want to go to Harvard and want to be a part of that. I'm beyond that. Like, there's no job on Harvard University's campus they could offer me that I would take, including president. I wouldn't care. They can invite me to speak. It doesn't mean anything, so, and that's really because I truly became invested in believing that being next to Black people is literally the gold standard. Like, being in the Black community is purity to me. Being in that community is diluted. It's diluted, very managed Blackness. It's conditional Blackness. It's like you could be as Black as you can be, as long as you don't offend the white people who own the goddamn building. And I hate that. I don't. It just doesn't appeal to me at all on any level. But then again, though, I know what it feels like to own a building. Right. So I think that there's just a difference that happens when you finally emerge out of your superpower. Like, I can't be owned. That's not fun for me.
Yeah, I get the sense that Cornel West I get the sense that he's very eccentric, right? And so he's different.
Mm.
And I think that when you're Black and eccentric, you're not allowed, people don't give you like the leeway that they get. Because at, I've been to a bunch of different white universities, and there's always a white boy that's very eccentric that
Yes.
walks around with this long ponytail and says really bizarre things, but they're really smart, very brilliant. And they say these weird things in faculty meetings and to be like all campus faculty meetings, and they get up and they go on these long rants and they're really bizarre. And you're like, okay, thank you very much. Sit down. We've heard from you enough today. So they're just eccentric. And what universities do is that they respect them because they're smart, and they just let them sit in the corner office and they just let them be weird.
Mm.
And I think that when you're Black, you're not allowed to be weird.
Mm.
If you're Black, they look at an eccentric person and they're threatened by you and they want you to go away.
Well, what a lot of people don't talk about with Harvard is, they had that brother that was in economics who won the John Bates Clark Medal, which is basically like
What is that?
It's like I forgot the brother's name, but it's like the John Bates Clark Medal is like the Nobel Prize for people economists under 40.
Oh,
yeah, he was the first Black man to win it. I remember being in grad school back when I used to want to be a white man. I used to think about winning that medal. I was like, "Ooh, one day I want to win the John Bates Clark medal," because I was really good at what I did, and he actually did it. And now this dude got hemmed up big time.
Because of the Me Too.
Yeah, he got they Me Too'd his ass. Yeah, I mean torpedoed his shit because this guy. Okay, so let me tell you about it, babe. Okay, so this guy, I think he had like a white wife. Like apparently that's how that's why he fit in so well, right? Mm-hmm. So so this guy, I guess he was like flirting with the lab assistants in his lab allegedly. And they went and took his ass down. They banned him from campus. They took away his lab. And I think they quietly brought him back because by that time, he was not just tenured, he was a full professor. He was a lead editor on several leading journals in our field. Like economics is kind of like the sibling to finance.
So wait, did he actually do it, or was it just allegedly? Did they investigate before they investigated? They took him down.
Yeah. I mean, you're Black and you're accused, and if your accuser is white, you're done.
It's a weapon.
Yeah, it's going.
They use it as a weapon.
They took his butt down.
Oh God.
Whose wife is from Ethiopia? Patricia says his wife is from that guy's wife ain't from Ethiopia. No. This brother, I gotta look him up. Now y'all got me really.
Well, wait a minute. Remember my brother's friend who taught was it Harvard, and he went down because of some politics? Oh, because remember he was a lawyer remember that couple?
Oh yeah,
was that Harvard?
No, yes, that was Harvard too.
Oh my God, they're from Gary, Indiana.
That's right. Yeah, there were So there were, what we're talking about is there were two there were two professors that were married, a couple that was married, and they joined the legal defense team of Harvey Weinstein.
That's right.
And the white kids, the white women got so pissed off that they were even defending Harvey Weinstein. Roland Fryer, that's his name. Thank you, Linnell. Roland Fryer. Yeah, his wife ain't from Ethiopia. No, his wife's from Czechoslovakia.
Eastern European.
Right. She's Danish. Go ahead.
The thing is that Harvard has a track record of doing this, right? They have there must be something really
Cornel
bad.
West's wife is Ethiopian. Okay. No, we weren't talking about Cornel's wife. We were talking about Roland Fryer. Yeah,
Roland Fryer.
Okay. Like his wife looks like she's on the Swedish ski team.
Okay, so this is Harvard too, right?
Yeah.
Took down my homeboy from Gary, Indiana.
Yep. Took them down. Took down Roland Fryer
and his wife.
Cornel West.
His wife went down too, right?
Yeah. They took them both down. Yep. And then there was another story about Harvard. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, but
that's pretty bad.
Harvard's got a bad reputation when it comes to Black people.
Yeah.
They just, and it's kind of unfortunate though that we still give them credibility when they're really just a pack of dirty racists. It sounds like I mean, why are you giving racists that much respect and credibility when they would never respect your Black ass for a minute? They literally pee on you and literally remind you every day. Yeah. We don't like you. We don't want you here. We don't respect you.
The climate is really icy for Black
Yeah,
faculty there.
I think Black people need to have our own universities. I really
Well,
do. Like,
well, don't you have a university?
well, we got the Black Business School. You're damn right, and we serve 140,000 students around the world.
Yeah.
And we've been able to do we were able to do more with just a few $1 million over the years than most of the schools could do with $1 billion. And so I personally kind of feel that it's time for us to really sort of look in the mirror.
We need to scoop up our Black faculty and get them
Hmm.
together. Yeah.
It makes me think about those
Yeah.
NBA players that were all trying to like become team owners, or NFL players. Like, I really want
Yeah.
to be a part owner in a team, and the white people are like,
No, we
create your,
don't
yeah,
even want your money.
right.
Like, we're willing to give you our money. They're like, no,
We'll pay
your
double,
money is
massa.
no good here.
We'll pay double, massa. They're like, no, this ain't
No.
about money.
Oh, ho,
Our
ho.
racism is more valuable than money.
Wow, that tells you how deep it is.
Well, it just kind of tells you that, they're kind of looking at us and saying, when are you going to have enough self-respect to create your own institutions? That's what they're
Yeah.
saying. We got too many brilliant Black people out here for us to be begging for nothing. I'm not begging anybody for anything.
Oh, it's a slap in the face because, hey, think about it. Universities were started in ancient Kemet. Like, we started universities. That's our stuff. That's our stuff.
Say it.
They're imitating us, and we're imitating them, imitating us.
All those Greek philosophers went to Africa.
Yes.
Get their
Hello.
knowledge. What?
So
You're
we need to take
right.
back our knowledge. That's our knowledge. We thought of it first.
I agree. Well,
Yeah.
Mark is saying so he can't teach it at HBCU. He's so Black, but he won't work at an HBCU. That's a good point, Mark. Well, what's interesting, Mark, about HBCUs is that a lot of HBCUs are very conservative, and they will probably take a Cornel West. But I know when I was first getting started and I tried to work at an HBCU, there was no interest, and it wasn't because of my credentials. I mean, people that got training at the level I got it don't even didn't even take jobs at that level. Usually they've got the higher level, high tier jobs. But it's like, when you're outspoken, there are some Black people who kind of want to integrate, like who really want to integrate by kind of being cool and being quiet and stuff like that. And I don't really fit that mold. And Cornell, I know, didn't fit that mold, but I think now they would probably consider him. I think he probably could get an appointment in HBCU. And I'm really curious as to why he has to be
hadn't looked
Harvard.
at that because he could go to any HBCU. It's not like they would.
And even in Boston, there's a lot of schools up there.
Everywhere you turn in Boston, there's a university. That's like the smart. I think Boston must be the smartest state, smartest city.
Yeah,
in the United States. Because when I went, it was just like, here's another university and another university. Like, what's going on?
Number of universities per capita, like 1-to-1, like one university per person.
Yet another one.
Yeah, I personally think I just think that I don't understand it, and my whole debate in my head with tenure was, okay, what is this all about? I said, okay, it's about economic security. And I said, well, there's a lot of ways to achieve economic security besides getting somebody to give it to you. The way I see it also is if you're Black, and pay attention now, I want y'all to hear this. This is a kind of a deep thought I want to go over anybody's head. If you're Black and your economic security is being provided to you by white people, do you really have economic security? I mean, if you're trying to achieve security, if you're Black, part of what you need security from is racism. So if a racist institution says, we'll protect you, we'll give you security, do you really have security? It's almost like when those mafia families will go sell protection. But are you really protected?
When I think about the fact that you were denied tenure at Syracuse, I think that it was probably the best thing that could have happened to you.
Oh, what? Not getting tenure at Syracuse?
Yeah, I think
it was.
I think that's how we need to look at stuff. Like, instead of getting angry about stuff, instead of getting mad, we need to just. And I said it before, but I really think that we need to say thank you very much. There's a better opportunity for us.
Yeah, well, I think that for Cornel, I think because of who he is, I think that for him, he has attached a certain value to that acknowledgement from Harvard. Like, I need you to acknowledge me, and I don't agree with him on that because I don't really know if you need your enemies to acknowledge you. Like, why does that matter to you? They're your enemies. They're not going to acknowledge you.
Yeah, I saw that interview with the lady
Trisha Rose,
and he just looked stressed. Like, his hair was extra gray, and dry. And he looked stressed. He looked like he had a lot of stress on his face. He looked very unhappy. And it was just sad to see a man of his caliber, of his brilliance, just kind of look kind of worn out.
Yeah, but they don't. I
We
mean,
need to give him
but
some.
they offered him money. They offered him an endowed chair. They offered him another 10 years. That's when you're 67, getting a 10-year contract is pretty good.
No, he wanted respect. Remember, he said, "I need them to." They were disrespectful to me. That's what he kept saying. They were disrespectful to me. Like, okay.
Well, let's just keep it 100. I mean, what they were trying to do was they were like, okay, how do we give him something? How they were trying to be diplomatic. How do we give something to this guy that is respected by so many people while not upsetting the powerful Jewish people that run our university? That's what it is, because Cornell has spoken in favor of the Palestinians, right, and against Israeli occupation. So that's never going to win almost anywhere in the halls of power in America.
Yeah, and so what we're saying is that it's political. Really, think about it. When you get tenure, if you don't get tenure, it's political. If you get promoted and you don't get promoted, it's political. It's just politics.
And I think it's also racist too.
It's very racist.
He didn't mention race, but I'm sorry. I think
he wouldn't.
but you are black.
Concerned about why he didn't pick race. Well, he did say all the students supported him. So maybe that's his way of saying all these white students want me to be here, but they're just students,
Well, remember there was a lady, Elena Kagan, that was appointed to the Supreme Court from Harvard. She was a Harvard dean, and the whole 6 years she was there, she hired 32 people and not one single black person, not even one.
Well, who nominated her?
Obama.
He's so tricky, ain't he?
Yeah. We know Obama just recently also stated just today, he said he supports reparations.
Today?
Just today.
Wait, what's the date? Let's mark the date.
4 years after, 4 years after your ass and left the White House.
He's not running for president again, so he don't need to.
Right. Well, that's what he said. He said that he would. He said he couldn't support it when he was president because of all the hostility he would have received from white people.
He got hostility anyway.
Exactly. They're gonna hate you no matter what. Like, stop trying to appease these people. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not.
And Obama, isn't he from Harvard?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Well, the Elena Kagan position, which the White House called me about that. Remember, I told you about that. They reached out and asked me to tell my readers and supporters that to support Elena Kagan, and I was like, why? And they were like, oh, because she has the Thurgood Marshall Chair at Harvard. And I said, I don't care who her chair is named after. And I found out that she hadn't hired a single black person. Like, all the people she hired were white, except she hired I think 32 people, one Asian, one white woman, and the rest were white males. And I said, the KKK couldn't have a worse hiring record than that. Like, she's a racist. You asking me to support a Klansman. I said, you don't have to go try that with one of these okey doke dumbass preachers out here. But this ain't gonna work for me because I know how to do math, and I know the zero is not a very big number. Like, so you're not even hiring black people. What in the hell makes you think that you're actually helping black people? And that's the game. Those are the types of games they play on black people, and it's very sad. So yeah, but she was from Harvard, and she was a power play. She was a Harvard. She's Jewish. She was a woman, and a lot of people thought she was LGBT. So you were hitting.
Oh, she got all of it.
Yeah, you were checking. You checked a lot of boxes with Elena Kagan out of Harvard, and I think that with, so Harvard is very committed to protecting its power. If actually, I think up until maybe 5 or 10 years ago, 1/3, if I'm not mistaken, 1/3 of the Supreme Court justices were all from the Jewish community over the last 100 years or something crazy like that, which is insane given that they have such a small percentage of the population.
Yeah, but there's a lot of Jewish lawyers too.
That's true. But there's a lot of black lawyers too.
Oh yeah,
thousands and thousands of black lawyers and judges, right? And then also up until a few years ago, every single Supreme Court justice was from either Harvard or Yale. Did you know that?
Gee whiz.
Yeah, the only exception up until recently, I don't know the last couple, but up until recently, the what was it? The only exception kind of was Ginsburg, because Ginsburg left. She started at Harvard. She transferred because her husband got a job on the faculty at Columbia.
So she graduated from Columbia.
Yeah,
she broke ties.
Right, but it's still all Ivy League. Right, so it's an aristocracy.
It is
that we have.
It for sure is.
Yeah. So I kind of think,
So what does he want? I'm wondering what Cornel West is asking for. I never got that from the
He
interview.
wants tenure.
So he wants tenure. He's begging these people for tenure.
I guess. Maybe not begging, just demanding. Like, let's say it like that. I don't want to be mean because
Okay.
because Cornell's a homie. I like Cornel West. I don't want to dog him out.
It's just sad. I just think the whole thing is sad. You know, they should respect him.
Well,
You
they
know?
should. I mean, well, he's Cornel West, and we respect him. And here's the
Yeah.
thing that's interesting to me, and I want y'all to think about this too. All of us respect Cornel West. Give me a yes in the chat if you respect Cornel West. Give me a yes if you respect him. We all respect him, and there's
Yeah.
like millions of us who do. But why does our respect not matter?
Yeah, he should remember that.
Right. Why does I mean, our respect doesn't matter to Harvard, and our respect does not appear to matter to him. I think it matters to him, but it's kind of like, it's almost like if you, have you ever seen somebody that you were madly in love with who was like begging to be with somebody who hated their guts? And you were like,
Why
but
would you want somebody that don't want you?
right. But you'd be
Yeah.
like, wait, I love you. Like, or like you see this happen all the time where somebody will literally, they'll have a person that they're doing everything in the world to get the attention of that person because they want that person back so bad, and they'll be completely ignoring somebody who
Who really loves them, right? Standing right there and really loves them.
right, because you want the thing you can't have.
You looking past it.
Yeah. So white supremacy kind of creates this thing where we want it because we feel like we can't have it. We want it because they're denying it to us.
Yeah.
And when we've got a whole community that loves us, a whole bunch of institutions that we can, that we can participate with.
So that would be my advice to Cornel. It's just come back to us. Come home. Come home to us. We will accept you with open arms.
Yeah,
take that advice.
Yeah, get an upgrade. Like, get an upgrade.
And that would be an upgrade.
Like that little, the way I had to retrain my thinking. Especially when I left academia, to the point where I had to realize, well, wait a minute. We a lot of us were raised to believe that being around Black people was something you did when white people did not want you anymore. That's backward, horrible thinking, when really it should be the other way around. Like I see a guy like Cornel, as brilliant as he is, I see it as kind of a waste. Like, you're teaching a classroom full of white kids. Or maybe you got a few Black ones in there, right? There are Black students at Harvard, but right, you're like fish out of water. You're trying to fit into this shit. They don't want you there. They don't like you. They don't respect you. They don't care about your community. They literally, they're gentrifying Black neighborhoods right in front of you.
Yes, they are.
And then somehow you think you've been fighting for this because you feel that the way to obtain resources and power and support for your community is to kind of go in there and battle it out with white people and change their institutions. When really, the most effective Black people I've seen are Black people who create Black institutions. Like, when I look, for example, every day with the Black Business School, we hire so many Black people, and we're talking to Black people all day. Yeah. We're giving Black people like the secrets to economic power. People have these YouTube channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers where they're teaching Black people everything from history to economics. That's far more effective than putting Black people $100,000 in debt to go to some racist white university.
And they don't like you.
Right. And then
be happy to see you drop out with the debt. Yeah.
And don't even teach you the right shit. Teach you everything that they want you to know. Teach you how to be a white supremacist. That's what they're teaching you to do. Prepare you to go work for a white person when you graduate. Like, because we're accepting you, you're making Black history because you're the first Black person to ever graduate from this program. No, I didn't make Black history. Y'all made white history because y'all the first white people that were not stupid enough to keep rejecting Black people just because of the color of our skin. Like, that's white history. This ain't Black history.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think about my dad, because my dad was a college professor, and he was offered jobs at white institutions.
Your daddy was a bad boy,
and he was like, no. I mean, he turned down money. He turned down money to work at Tuskegee. He was at Tuskegee since I was 3 years old. So so he would my 3-year-old self moved back to Tuskegee, Alabama. So
I shade to Dr. Francis Taylor.
Oh boy. Here we go.
The great social worker.
Yeah. But that was a move to make, So yeah, you make a good point.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, your dad seemed happy teaching Black people. He wanted to be around.
Well, let me say, it was here's the thing, like, Black people come with their own extra. We have
We
our
can.
own little extra issues, but you know what? I understand Black people's issues
Right.
because I live in it. It's familiar to me.
And we know the white kids got extra too.
They got issues too, but you know,
Ooh, talk about attitude.
whose issues would you rather deal with?
Oh, I'd rather
I
deal with
think
Black
I'd rather
people.
deal with our issues
Absolutely.
because it's, you know, at least it's funny and fun. And you're
Mm-hmm.
having a good time and you can relate and you're still teaching and uplifting. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I really think we got to question all of that
Hmm.
because you have a lot of Black professionals that try to become fish out of water. Like they try to make it through wiggle through these white institutions, and they end up being
Oh,
miserable and unhappy and
oh,
stressed out and unappreciated. All this stuff.
let me tell you, when I did that Fulbright scholarship,
Mm-hmm.
I did not know who I was until I left the country. Like I felt so much like I totally get James Baldwin when he said I didn't know who I was until I got out of America. You know, like going to a university in Guyana where everybody around me was smart Black women. Like it made me smarter just being around smart Black women. I miss them. I really do miss them because I had to come back to whiteness and it was okay, but it was just different.
Yeah,
You know,
Black people need to get into just get
it
into your
made
own
me feel,
spaces.
but it made me feel like in your environment, just changing your environment can make you see yourself differently. Like I
Mm-hmm.
felt much more competent. I felt encouraged. I felt excited and uplifted just because I was being around people who respected me. You know, not that my home institution doesn't respect me, but it was just a different flavor.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Well, it's I mean, it is the thing about being Black and when you're surrounded by white people is you become really super self conscious.
Yeah.
And when you're like overly self conscious, you can't focus on actually doing what you're doing. You can't focus on doing the job because you're so busy consciously observing yourself doing the job.
Oh, you sound like Du Bois. Lifting the veil. You know the veil.
No, I'm talking about the veil.
Was he? You don't know about? Have you seen? You're not
See
familiar with
what?
the souls of Black folks.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Have you
I'm
read the book?
I'm not a. I mean, I'm a mediocre fan of Du Bois. So I ain't gonna lie.
I
We
liked him,
we
the
got the
talented. Okay, so
we
I
got the
liked
same
him.
we got the same name, but I'm a little mad at him for what he did to Marcus Garvey. I'm still kind of upset
What?
about that.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, it was a fight back then. Him and Washington, they were all kind of like going at it.
Yeah, and I don't like that.
Was it Booker? Yeah, Booker T. Washington and Du Bois. They were like the going back and forth.
Yeah, and I just kind of feel like
What is it? Send your buckets down. Cast your buckets down. That speech, and then Du Bois was like, "No, the talent and no, cast your buckets down." It was like the big debate. I remember that from my African
less
American
feeling
literature
tastes great.
class.
Less feeling tastes great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not into that. I mean, I kind of think
I respect them all.
I like them. I mean, I like them, and I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think overall though, it's like the hard part about being conscious and Black is that you spend all your energy being Black in America and not enough energy just being human and just
Mm-hmm.
like if you're an accountant, just be an accountant. You ain't got to be a Black accountant. Or if you're a smart student, you're just smart.
Mm-hmm.
Like this idea like I'm the first Black, I'm the only Black.
Oh,
Like that's just not you know fun. It's not healthy mentally. It's got to drive you crazy. So I think that Cornell does. Obviously, he deserves tenure. He's gonna be fine.
what's your advice to him? If you had
My
to give him
advice,
some advice.
I, I wouldn't give him advice because
Mm-hmm.
clearly I don't understand exactly what he wants, right? But based on what I think he wants, the respect,
Mm-hmm.
I would say to him, from whom?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you looking for? Like, are you? I think you're looking for love in all the wrong places because people love you. You got love. But for
Mm-hmm.
some reason, you're looking for some dirty ass cracker up in at Harvard to give you love. They don't love you. They
Mm-mm.
showed it. I mean, they're showing it. They're saying it, and I think that it's like it's unfortunate because it's kind of it's very sad because people hold Cornell on this high pedestal, and nobody wants to see their superhero on his knees begging
Yeah,
an oppressor
it was not a
for
good look.
anything. Like it was,
Yeah,
and that's the thing. He doesn't, but
he's better than that.
he's such a good guy and a humble guy that I think that he doesn't see it that way. He doesn't see
Yeah,
maybe he doesn't see himself as the giant that we see him as.
yeah.
I see him as a guy where it's like, no, I don't like if I'm looking at my dad, Cornell's like about my dad's age. If I was looking at my dad, I'd be like, Dad, I don't ever want to see you on your knees begging nobody for nothing.
Yeah.
Like no, we gonna walk out the store, Dad. Like our money's good at a lot of places, and so I just kind of from where I'm sitting, it's a no-brainer in my mind that Cornel West could be part of a committee that goes and starts a great Black university that lasts for the next 500 years.
I would sign up for it.
He's, that's the thing that bothers me is when our greatest superheroes are a white man's employee. That is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. I think our greatest superheroes need to be the people that are planting seeds that are going to last for hundreds of years, that are building, businesses and organizations, and I think that's where your impact lasts, because the job only lasts until you're dead. Once you die, they just replace your ass and they move on. They hire somebody else.
They sure do.
Yeah, but if you create a legacy, an institution, that institution can live 1,000 years after you're gone.
Yeah, I mean, Cornel West is an elder. He's an elder, and he needs to have that title. He needs to not ask for anything. We should be serving him. He has made it to that eldership position,
and that's why I'm not. I'm gonna give him that respect. I'm gonna give him all that respect.
Yeah,
he deserves it. I'm not. I wouldn't give him a hard time about it. I think he's been so gracious as a human being, and I'm gonna hold that respect. But I
think you should send him a text message and just give him some encouragement.
I don't even know if I still have his number. I gotta look for it. It might be on my old phone, but yeah, I haven't talked to him for years. But every time I've interacted with him, he's always been very pleasant. He's a very pleasant person. So anyway, all right. Do you have any other thoughts?
I think I'm tapped out of thoughts.
Okay.
What's your thoughts? Any other thoughts for you? I know you never tapped out of thoughts.
Well, my main thought is I'm a big fan of building your own. But that was my strategy that worked for me.
But you make it look easy, boys.
No,
I just
learned hard work.
But but you have. Oh, come on.
Well, I do have an insane work ethic. I had that for years, so maybe I guess that made a difference. But no, I was like, I'm too smart to let you put me in a little tiny box. Like, you're not going to tell me I'm a failure. I reject that. Curse it to the root.
I curse it to the root.
I'm not. I was determined. I was like, oh hell no! I work too hard to be good at what I do. I dedicated everything. I'm not even gonna hear you tell me that. Oh, he's not. He's inferior. This inferior. That
you showing them.
Well, the thing about it is that it was more like. Now, the unfortunate thing though is that racism makes you a little crazy.
It does,
because truth be told, I should have been open to critique from them because they were probably right. there were critiques that I received on my dissertation and stuff like that that were actually correct. The problem is that you can't trust criticism from somebody
you don't trust. Yeah. You can't take criticism from someone you don't trust.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I didn't trust them. I don't trust white supremacy. It's like, so my feeling was like, no, I'm rejecting everything you say because I can't trust what you say. It's like taking a vaccine from them. Like, no.
And it drives you crazy. It can drive you crazy. Let me just say, getting a PhD, don't you lose a little sanity?
Yeah, you gotta, to get through. If your PhD program doesn't drive you a little crazy, then you didn't go through it. You didn't go through a real program.
Yeah. But I know I'm a little. It did something to me. You're forever changed.
Yes, she is.
Oh, don't you start. But yeah, it does. It does something to you. You're never the same again.
Yeah. I agree. Well, I'll tell you. Well, Jim's is asking a good question. He says, why is every dispute involving Black people automatically about racism? Dr. Cornel West expresses radical thoughts that oppose American capitalism. He wants to have his cake and eat it too, or eat his cake and have it too. Okay. Well, the reason I think it always involves racism, or in this case it does, is because Cornel West gets most of his respect from Black people and not white people. So based on white value systems, Cornel's not worthy of tenure because he's a radical, outspoken Black man. But if Black people were making that tenure decision, he would get it, no question.
Well, he wrote a book called Race Matters.
Right.
So race has to matter because he wrote a book on it.
Yeah, I remember reading that book.
Yeah, I read it too.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's not so much to say that these white people woke up today saying, okay, we're gonna ban him because he's Black. It's the fact that they get to decide, they get to make the decision. So it's almost like if there was a house where You know, where the good people, the people that get judged to be good get to eat, and the people that get judged to be that are judged bad don't get to eat. So let's say the person that runs the house doesn't have any racism at all, but he's, let's say he just believes that if you that good people pray, and if you don't pray, you're a bad person. So let's say that you have people in there that pray, some people that don't pray, and it just happens that the black people come from a culture, or come from households where they didn't pray before they ate, and the white people came from households where they did do, or let's say it's a Catholic prayer or something, right? Well, then he's going to say, well, you don't get to eat because you didn't pray, right?
So it's a cultural thing.
Yeah, what's going to happen is that culture is correlated with race. So so culture shapes your values. So the person that's in power, given that white people tend to be making these decisions in these white institutions, they become inherently racist because their values end up becoming the values that the organization has to follow.
Yeah, it's the dominant culture. It's the dominant culture, and they're not going to tolerate anybody that doesn't do what they want them to do before they eat. And so, but it seems like the students were supportive of Cornel West. The faculty was supportive of Cornel West. He did say he sent a message to the president to meet with the president, and the president just ignored him.
Yeah.
So I think it's the higher ups.
Yeah, I think he should name names.
He needs to name names.
Yeah, name specific people.
Yeah.
Like, this guy did this, and this woman.
Because if he named a name, you know that person's gonna get lit.
Yeah, they would respond. Like, I think that's what I did in Syracuse. I started naming names. I was like, no, it's not Boyce Watkins against Syracuse University. It's Boyce against that guy. And they did not like that. They were not used to that because I had access to the media and they didn't. So you got to fight with the weapons that you have, you know, and that's what it is. All right. So anyway, how can we make Harvard hurt though? I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna tell anybody what to do. I would say don't send your kids there. I mean, but I can't get mad at you for sending your kids to Harvard. But I personally think if you train your children to own businesses, they're going to be much more successful than Harvard graduates are. I know a lot of Harvard graduates who can't even pay back their student loans. So anyway, I'm out of here. So the allblackagenda.com, check out that website. That's a website where we've got actually some elements of the Black agenda, economics, health, stuff like that. Ice Cube's contract with Black America is up there. Dr. Claude Anderson's resources are up there. Take a look at the allblackagenda.com, and that's our agenda for our people. And also the blackbusinessschool.com is where the Black Business School is housed. And you can actually get started for free. So feel free to go over there and take a look. And hopefully these resources will help you. We got to build our own. I'm tired of begging. I'm not interested in what Harvard or Yale is doing. I'm really interested in what we're doing. If we don't build something for the next generation, then our kids will be begging for jobs just like us. So we just can't have that. You know, we got to move forward. So take care, everybody. And no disrespect to Cornel West at all. I love this man immensely. Just some areas I don't agree, but I think he understands that. So take care. Have a good night. See you soon. Peace.